Today, we're going to be talking about gold. I'm going to be picking up from where we left off 6 days ago when I did the analysis, what market did during that period, some of the areas that I called out as potential areas of interest, and what gold is doing now. So if you're new to this channel and you have an interest in learning how to basically secure the bag with my style of analysis and market entry and exit, then I would say hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification, and drop us a like. Now, with that said and done, we're going to get straight into the analysis for today. So as it stands, last week when I did the analysis, this was where we was at, right? We were somewhere in this area. So market had closed above a low value node that has just shifted off my screen, which is really weird. So when I did this video before, 6 days ago, this area right here was a low value node, right? And as you can see, that has changed. A lot of action has taken place in this area, so that has now changed. It's no longer a low value node, and that's purely due to what was taking place in this area in terms of levels of activities that was happening, the buys and the sells of traders in that space. So it's changed, right? Because the volume profile is not actually is fixed. It remains fixed for the most part, but it does change because these are all, so this area right here are all passive orders that are just basically sitting there, and activities will begin to build up at certain key points of the volume profile, right? So that's what happened in this area, hence why this volume profile has slightly shifted. A lot of orders have come in and are now sitting in this location right here, which is fine. So getting on with the analysis as to what we talked about last week, I talked about these two levels over here, right? And I said if price went above them or below them, okay, the type of action you should be looking for, whether it be buys or whether it be looking sells, right? Now, in that process, we had a number of okie dokes. So we had price close above this level up here. We had that between Wednesday and Thursday. Okay, price went up due to the amount of movement that price made. Okay, you may have come in with a trading stop or you may not have come in with a trading stop. Either way, looking at the profit potential up here, if I had put in a buy at that level, I would have lost that trade even if I went profitable for a little while. Reason being is I kind of expect more from my entries into the market, so I try to aim for as many pips as possible, and usually I don't consider this enough, right? I don't consider this enough. Now, in saying that as well, you could come in with a trading stop and secure your trade, so no matter what, you don't lose, right? You could actually do that. But in most cases, I wouldn't do that. Not to say it's a bad thing to do. It's actually is a good thing to do. But I'm like, I get out the trade too early because that's the part for me where trading stops can become really annoying, right? So price went up, okay, broke above the previous low value node that was sitting over here. It's no longer a low value node, right? Swung all the way through it, came back to retest it, and now it's moving away. So if you were using this style and you managed to lock in under here with a sell, you're sitting in profit right now. If you locked in with a buy up here and left it to run, chances are you're sitting in the red right now. With the information that I shared in regards to these levels over here, okay, you should have been stopped out, right? You should have taken that hit, been stopped out, meaning that either you re-entered or you just left the market entirely, right? These are options that were available to you, right? The most amount of movement that we got from price leaving this area here, which was the previous low value node area, was on the Friday. Okay, so yesterday, Monday, it kind of pushed itself back up again into a new low value node area, which is this right here. Okay, So it's pushed up into that and it's now on its way back down. And as we can see, it's now moving back up again. This is what price is doing, right? Now, in my opinion, I think it's going to go down even lower. So let me get rid of the profit potential, which is what we put down over here. So this whole area right here, this is the profit potential of if gold drops, and we was looking at 474 pips to the downside, right? That's what we was looking at. So we've got to get rid of that for now. Sorry, I have a bit of a cold. I've been nursing this cold for a little while, so you're going to hear me sniveling quite a fair bit. Do apologize for that. It's just that the weather that we're experiencing right now in the UK is all over the place. The weather cannot make up his mind as to what he wants to do, if he wants to be hot or if he wants to be cold, you know, so we're suffering because of it. But anyways, enough about that. Let's get back to the analysis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark out last week, which is what I've done in this area right here. So I've put in last week's level to kind of separate everything up. I'm going to get rid of this low value node level, which is now moved. So we need to find another location for that one to go. And we're going to look at what's basically happening now. So the first thing that I'm going to do in regards to last week is I'm just going to mark out the weekly lows and the weekly highs. We're just going to get that locked in place right now. So we have the weekly low over here, and then we have the weekly high up here. Okay, so with that said and done, now we're going to mark out the new low value node area of interest, and we are currently still sitting in the high value area of the volume profile. So we're sitting in there now. We've left the bound, so we've gotten close to the boundary of the high side of the high value area, which is this area up here, right? So we've gotten close to it, but now it looks like we're moving away, because at this current moment we are sitting on the point of control of that volume profile. So we're sitting right here somewhere. So what I'm kind of expecting is I'm of the mindset, okay, that price may begin to push down even lower, right? May begin to push down even lower. And at the same time in me saying that, I have to bear in mind that it could actually be pushing up. So based on experience, right, I personally wouldn't take any plays in gold. I'll be waiting for a clear movement to either the downside or the upside that moves with pure confidence to let me know that I need to be on that side of the coin. Because my thing in the market is this: I never want to be too early into a position, right? Because it's touch and go. It's good when it happens, when you just catch the wicks, right? If then it goes in the opposite direction, it looks absolutely fantastic when you're able to execute that. But through experience, I know that carries more losses than it does wins, right? So basically, what I'm hoping to do is, once I have a clear direction in terms of where market wants to go, that's when I'm going to jump in and start following along, right? So as it stands right now, as we are looking at gold, we can see gold is pushing up, right? So gold right now, it is pushing up. Now, how it looks to me right now is we've got this particular type of trend happening right now. This is how it looks to me right now as I do this, right? It could change in a couple of hours time, because Lord knows it's quite early in the day right now. So it could change. So I'm expecting something like this, okay? I'm also expecting a rejection at this level over here, okay? That rejection should give me what it is that I'm after, which is I want this weekly low here taken out. So we're going to make this this level a little bit bolder. I think that's the confident level that I'm looking for, the level that tells me that I can actually join it in sales. Because in this whole area as a whole, okay, although it looks clear, right, and if market says begins to break down and go downwards, we want to catch that. We can't just jump into the idea of placing sales, because this whole thing is still an uptrend, right? It's still an uptrend. This whole thing here is still an uptrend, and until it produces a lower low, right, only then will I consider jumping in with sales. And to get that lower low, I would need this level right here taken out. This level right here is what I need to be taken out, because that level is last week's low. So once that level goes, I know I'm good, right? If that level does not go, then I will need to sit on my hands and be patient. And if that level does go, then what it is I'll be waiting for is I'll want this weekly high here taken out, right? And the only reason why I'll be so patient in regards to waiting for these fixed levels to be taken out is because this entire area over here has too much ambiguity in it, right? And our proximity to the boundary of the high side of the high value area of the volume profile, which is this area right here, we're very close to this area right here, okay, leads me to believe that the potential is there for price to push to the upside. And so long as that potential is there, I can't be gung-ho in looking for sells. I would need certain conditions to be met before a sell is acceptable. Now, let's just say, for example, that we do get that sell. Where would I target in terms of profit potential? Well, that all depends on how long I want to stay in the market for. Okay, so I could target where I had before, which is all the way down here, right? This area right here, or I could target this area as my potential TP, right? These are the things that I would need to think about to see if it actually makes sense in taking the positions that I kind of want to take. Now, also at the same time in doing that, based on where price is now, we want to mark out the volume profile, the low value node areas in its immediate area, right? So as it stands, we have another low value node area sitting right here. We have another low value node area another low value node area sitting right here. Okay, sitting right here, right? And that for me is the danger. That for me is the danger. So you see what it is I'm saying, why I say I want to wait, right? Because say, for example, we have price break out of this ascending flag. This is what it currently looks right now. Okay, that could change. It might not be that, but that could change. So if price breaks out of that and price goes into this new low value node area, okay, right, I would expect to see some type of bounce from this area. That's what I'm expecting to see, to say, hey, maybe consider jump in with either a buy or a sell. So if it does not bounce and it continues its way downwards, then I'll be comfortable in taking sells, and I would want to ride it all the way down to see how low it can go. Bearing in mind, I would need to bring in a trailing stop to secure the positions that I would have already gained, right? But at the same time, this area makes everything really, really, really dangerous in terms of how to navigate. Hence why, in my opinion, I would wait. So for example, if price goes back into this low value node area here and pulls away, I will ride it to the downside. And the main thing for me is, if I'm going to let it run, I will bring my trailing stop to where the weekly low is, right? Last week's weekly low. That's where I'll bring my trailing stop to, right? If it blasts all the way through it, then great, happy days, right? I will adjust my trailing stop to somewhere in the middle, because once price breaks through, I'm expecting it to come back and test this zone again. Once it's tested the zone and left, only then will I bring my trailing stop down to a sensible location, and then that will then bring us to another low value node area right here, where we would need to then consider taking deploying countermeasures to make sure we protect our trade. So with all of that said and done, okay, if you have stayed with the content up until now, I believe you definitely owe me a subscribe. So hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification, and drop us a like. Why? Because I'm assisting with the process of helping you get to the back. Also as well, leave us a comment if you have an interest in an asset that you'd like me to discuss that I haven't talked about. Okay, leave us a comment in regards to that, and I'll make sure that I will cover it if it all makes sense in terms of what you want me to discuss. So with that said and done, I will see all of you lovely people again on the next one.